pause for a single moment right now. Still your breathing, and listen closely to the sound of the spoken words echoing around your immediate environment. Our modern language is an incredibly sophisticated, seamless, and fluid tool, containing tens of thousands of complex words designed to express the most abstract corners of human thought. We can effortlessly dial a number to speak with someone living halfway across the planet, or dispatch a digital text message across oceans in a mere fraction of a second. Yet, have you ever stopped to wonder how our ancient ancestors managed to convey vital messages to one another before the very first words were ever formed? The deep night of prehistoric communication was never a void of absolute silence, but a rich world filled with resonant shouts, rhythmic thuds, and dramatic physical gestures. The survival of a hunting and gathering tribe depended entirely on the ability of individuals to coordinate their physical actions quickly, accurately, and over vast distances. A solitary prehistoric human wandering alone through the dense primeval forest was little more than a helpless piece of bait, waiting to be violently torn apart by fierce apex predators. To prevent total isolation and avoid swift destruction, our ancestors were forced to invent the earliest methods of long-distance communication, initiating a cognitive revolution that altered the fate of humanity forever. This epic journey to find the human voice began with simple mechanical vibrations of the throat and hands, evolving over tens of thousands of years into a dominant signaling system. The first stage, which served as the absolute biological foundation of prehistoric communication, consisted of physical acoustic signals and direct vocal mimicry of the natural world. Long before true spoken language existed, the rapidly developing brain of Homo sapiens learned to maximize the use of high-frequency vocal sounds that could travel across the sweeping grasslands of East Africa. They learned to mimic the exact warning calls of forest birds, the low growls of hunting saber-toothed tigers, and the chilling group howling of Ice Age wolf packs. These highly accurate acoustic imitations functioned as an innate military encryption code, allowing hunters to communicate through dense thickets without startling their prey. Every short shout, long wail, or sudden shift in pitch carried a specific, non-negotiable survival, meaning that had been tightly agreed upon by the entire tribe. A high-pitched, sharp cry tearing through the early morning fog might serve as the official command, announcing that the tracks of a giant woolly mammoth had been found. Conversely, a rapid series of low, clicking noises from the throat acted as an immediate warning of impending danger, ordering every single hunter to drop down into the tall grass. Beyond utilizing their throats, ancient humans borrowed mechanical force from their environment, smashing heavy stones against hollow tree trunks to produce deep, booming vibrations that traveled for miles to guide lost foragers back to camp. Simultaneously, the development of complex physical gestures and body language served as the primary information bridge in the daily lives of prehistoric humans. This instinctual reliance on kinetic communication was directly inherited from our ancient primate ancestors, but Homo sapiens elevated it to an astonishing level of precision and nuance. During high-stakes, close-quarter hunting expeditions, maintaining absolute silence was the absolute boundary between a successful kill and a fatal counterattack. Prehistoric humans engineered a highly flexible vocabulary of hand movements, allowing them to issue complex commands across long distances without uttering a single sound. A gentle outward wave of the hand could signify an order to split the hunting party into two separate groups to encircle an approaching beast. A single index finger pointed firmly toward the earth meant that every member must freeze instantly and hold their breath. Even the facial expressions of prehistoric humans, from a subtle narrowing of the eyes to a tight compression of the lips, were powerful biological broadcasts. These expressions instantly transmitted deep fear, rage, or absolute trust across the camp without requiring a single vocalization. This kinetic system was so deeply woven into our biology that even today, humans unconsciously move their hands while speaking, a vivid behavioral ghost from the Stone Age. An incredibly unique and highly original aspect of prehistoric communication that modern humans rarely consider was the strategic utilization of scents and natural chemical markers. Much like the wild animals they shared the wilderness with, our ancient ancestors possessed a sense of smell that was vastly more acute than our own degraded olfactory senses today. They could instantly detect the close presence of an unfamiliar, rival tribe or locate hidden freshwater sources simply by analyzing the scent molecules drifting on the wind. To mark the sovereign boundaries of their territory and warn off illegal intruders, ancient tribes would frequently rub pungent mixtures of mud, urine, and animal fat onto prominent tree trunks surrounding their caves. This intense, highly distinct olfactory signature functioned as a biological traffic sign, loudly declaring tribal ownership and preventing unnecessary, bloody conflicts between wandering bands. Conversely, when approaching the territory of a foreign tribe to trade rare stones or seek a peace treaty, humans knew how to use the smoke of burning aromatic herbs to cleanse their bodies. This ritual washing removed the pungent sense of hunting and aggression, projecting peaceful intentions through a mutually comforting atmosphere. This primitive control of chemical signaling represented the earliest, foundational step toward the complex diplomatic protocols that govern nations today. Yet, the greatest turning point in human history, the revolution that fundamentally transformed the very nature of human consciousness, was the birth of cave art and symbolic communication. Roughly 40,000 years ago, deep within the dark, labyrinthine chambers of limestone caves like Lascaux and Chauvet in Europe, ancient humans did something no other living creature had ever attempted. They gathered the brilliant red pigments of iron ochre and the deep blacks of charcoal mixed with animal fat to project their inner minds onto stone. They painted stampeding bison, leaping wild horses, and the unmistakable outlines of their own hands pressed firmly against the cave walls. These ancient cave paintings were never meant to be mere decorations or shallow aesthetic displays for the amusement of the tribe. This was humanity's very first external data storage system, a form of Paleolithic internet designed to freeze human thought and broadcast messages across infinite spans of time and space. When a hunter painted an arrow piercing the leg of a massive stag, he was leaving behind an invaluable, visual survival manual for generations yet unborn. Those negative hand stencils slammed against the raw stone were a powerful declaration sent directly to the future, shouting across the millennia that we were here, we fought, and we lived. This unique ability to communicate through abstract, enduring symbols triggered a massive evolutionary surge, forcing the linguistic structures within the sapiens' brain to develop at an unprecedented speed. From disconnected emotional shouts, humans began binding specific vocal sounds together to form fixed words, systematically naming the vast universe around them. The birth of fully realized spoken language transformed prehistoric humans from passive reactors to environmental stimuli into active creators of shared realities. It allowed them to weave grand mythologies, construct powerful tribal identities, and build the foundational social trust required to cooperate in the thousands and ultimately master the planet. We are currently living in an era defined by a massive explosion of digital data, where these ancient, analog methods of communication seem lost to time. Yet, every single time you unconsciously use a colorful emoji to express an emotion on social media, or feel a chill down your spine from a sudden scream in the dark, you are running the software of the Stone Age. That primitive signaling system has never truly left us. It remains safely hidden beneath the thin veneer of modern civilization, keeping our souls tethered to the great wild roots of our species. Be profoundly grateful for those early shouts, those silent hand gestures, and those weathered ochre handprints left on the cave walls by our ancestors. It was through their stubborn, courageous efforts to connect in the terrifying darkness of prehistory that the flame of human awareness was kept alive. You hold within your throat the grand gift of language. Use it in a manner worthy of the million-year journey of those who came before you, as we continue to write the next epic chapters of Homo sapiens.